Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Deepika, and coming up in the next 1 hour. More than a dozen bodies recovered after Army Black Hawk collided with a passenger plane at Potomac River in Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump says collision should have been prevented. Hamas releases one more hostage in the third phase of ceasefire deal with Israel. Agam Berger, the first of 3 Israeli hostages, due to be released today. At AI Mission Conference, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw says India's foundational AI model will compete with the best in the world. India's President, Vice President and Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays homage to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat on his death anniversary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says his ideals motivate us to build a developed India. A very good afternoon to all our viewers who are joining us at this afternoon broadcast. Let's begin with the top news of the day. An American Airlines flight collided in mid-air with a helicopter in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, with both crashing in the Potomac River. The jet, which was coming from Wichita, Kansas, was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, along with 3 U.S. Army soldiers who were aboard the military helicopter. Now, about 300 emergency responders are currently in rescue mode, with the police divers and boats searching the water for survivors in windy and dark conditions. According to police officials, 18 bodies have been recovered so far, but there is no official update on casualties. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration has ordered the grounding of all planes at Reagan National. Earlier, US President Donald Trump said in an official statement that he'd been briefed on the terrible accident and thanked the emergency responders for their incredible work. In a social media post, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good," unquote. Now, terming the incident absolutely tragic, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the search and rescue efforts are ongoing and an investigation has been launched immediately by the Army and Defense Department. The chief executive of the American Airlines expressed grief over the Washington, D.C. crash, in which an American Airlines aircraft was also involved.
I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones.
And now to discuss more on this in detail, I'm joined by DD India correspondent straight from the newsroom, Jessica Taneja. Now, good afternoon, Jessica. What is the current status of the search and rescue operation there?
As we're given to understand at this point, Deepika, things are very difficult, especially for the rescue team at this point. And to give an exact number of the survivors, though officials state that 18 of them have survived out of the 64 plus the 3 soldiers who were on that training flight in the Black Hawk that collided with the aircraft from American Airlines. The news and the process of understanding on how soon we'll know the numbers will also going to get tricky because of the weather conditions right now in DC. Now, particularly about the Potomac River, now let's also tell our viewers on how difficult the conditions are when we talk about the icy Potomac River. Some reports also suggest that there was a similar crash, but not a collision though, but a similar crash in approximately 1982, 40 years ago, by an Air Florida aircraft as well, which in fact had 70 people on board. We're talking 40 years ago at the same Potomac River, where it was icy and very difficult for the search and rescue teams to pull out either the survivors or even give us a number of casualties and fatalities. So at this point, as you said, there are about 300 rescuers who are out there working in those really difficult conditions, so to say, because it is at night. Remember, this collision took place at 9 p.m. Local time in Washington, D.C. So perhaps it is difficult to ascertain at night on how this entire process of rescuing and giving an exact number. I think it will continue through the night, but what is important to remember at this point, that this is something which the United States hasn't seen in a really long time. An incident like this where a Black Hawk helicopter collides with an American an American aircraft mid-air, and with the information that's quickly coming in, and as you also pointed out, President Donald Trump saying that he's been briefed about the entire incident, and also has gone on to say that this entire incident could have been prevented according to the brief that he has received and the statement he's issued on Truth Social. We're yet to hear officially otherwise as well, but you also mentioned the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who said that this is indeed a very tragic incident, and a further investigation into all of this would reveal as to what was the cause, and especially it will depend on the communication of the air traffic controller to the helicopter then, because from various videos and images that have right now emerged on social media, and according to a lot of civil aviation experts as well, it does look like that this collision, which we saw at approximately 9 p.m. Near the Reagan airport, could have certainly been a different turn of events had the situation been monitored the way it usually is by the air traffic controller.
And also, Jessica, when we talk about the relief and rescue operation there, we are also getting the reports that how tough the conditions are there in the Potomac River, as you were also telling us, because the temperature is really freezing, and when the incident happened, it was really cold there. Tell us more about that, signifying and elaborating the details of the accident. That is also incidentally being quoted as one of the deadliest accidents happened in decade, not only in Washington, but also in nearby areas. Jessica.
Yes, and we're also given to understand that the FBI's underwater search team, a special team, is also there to assist with the other teams who have been currently deployed to look for, the remains, or perhaps, the casualties or the fatalities. We can't really comment on at this point. But yes, as the situation remains murky, weather has really sort of made the conditions even more difficult, especially the Potomac River right now. Now we're looking at 8 feet deep. The plane, as we're given to the aircraft, as we're given to understand from preliminary reports, although officials have quoted this in many of the reports across the United States, and what we gather from that is that the plane was found in absolute pieces and the helicopter was found upside down on the river. Of course, the fact that the river is also, it contains massive blocks of ice, so it is very difficult to ascertain as to how the rescue operations must be conducted in absolute darkness, with just few lights from the buoys that sort of help navigate any kind of movement on the sea, especially of the ships, which apparently was not taking place at that time due to the state of the river, which is completely frozen. So it is not an easy task, and the temperatures, we're given to understand, will go below freezing levels in few hours from now. So expect a lot of delay and a lot of angst, if I may say so, for the people and the survivors and their families, the families, pardon me, of the people who have been, who have been
and in addition to this, Yeah, we've also got the official statement from Donald Trump, who said that this could have been avoided. His statement speaks louder, and he's got some very between the lines meaning that we can make out of it. What do you have to say about Donald Trump's version on this incident?
Well, according to the statement that has been put out by him on social media, and going with that, he has said that he's been briefed on the matter, and as the President of the United States, who's just taken charge about a week ago, of course, this is one of the many incidents that will be very difficult at this point for his presidency as well, and especially when it happens in and around DC at the Reagan airport. So, of course, the President is briefed, and he did make those assertions to the effect that this could have been prevented. And I think one will have to look at it exactly from the point where the President of the United States has put out his concerns for as well, and he maintains that there will be search and rescue operations continuing, as well as all kind of help provided at this hour, even though the situation looks very difficult for the teams out there trying to rescue, either bring us the number of fatalities or perhaps casualties or any survivors, if there be.
All right. Thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us and bringing us those very important details about the incident. And now let's take a look at the last 10 deadly airline crashes that occurred in the United States. To begin with, in the year 2009, a Colgan Air turboprop crashed on approach to landing in Buffalo, New York, killing all 49 people on board and 1 person on the ground as well. Moving back to the year 2006, a Comair regional jet overran the runway when taking off from Lexington, Kentucky, and crashed, killing 49 of the 50 people aboard. Moving back to the year 2005, a Chogs Ocean Airways turboprop crashed after takeoff from Miami, Florida, killing all 20 people on board. And in the year 2004, a corporate airlines turboprop crashed on approach to landing in Missouri, killing 13 of the 15 people aboard. Moving back to the year 2003, a US Airways Express turboprop crashed after takeoff from Charlotte, North Carolina, killing all 21 people aboard. Now on November 2001, an American Airlines jet crashed after departing from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, killing all 260 people on board and 5 people on the ground. And on the 11th of September, moving back to the year 2001, a hijacked American Airlines jet departed from Boston and crashed into the World Trade Center building in New York, killing all 92 people aboard. And in that incident, around 1,600 people also died on the ground itself. And now this incident is also being highlighted as one of the deadliest incidents in decades. We're heading for a short break, but we'll be right back. Still to come on DD India News Hour. US revokes protection from deportation for more than 600,000 Venezuelans. US to set up migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, in a major development in U.S. immigration policy, President Donald Trump has signed the Lincoln-Riley Act, named after a Georgia college student tragically murdered last year. Trump administration also ended extended protections for Venezuelans and facility at Guantanamo, which is also being prepared to be served as a transit or detention center for illegal migrants. Let us listen to this detailed report by Aarti Rana.
US President Donald Trump signed a bill on Wednesday ordering the pre-trial detention of undocumented migrants charged with theft and violent crime. Lincoln-Riley Act is named after a 22-year-old Lincoln Riley, a nursing student who was killed last year by an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela. This is Trump's first piece of legislation since he returned to power.
Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, murder, or any crime that results in death or serious injury. In addition, for the first time ever, this act gives state governments the ability to sue the federal government for immediate injunctive relief if any future administration ever again refuses to enforce the immigration laws of the United States like happened.
The law comes as the Trump administration ramps up efforts to target Venezuelan nationals living in the U.S. under temporary protected status or TPS. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced plans to reduce deportation protections for up to 600,000 Venezuelans. U.S. President Donald Trump also unveiled a surprise plan to detain migrants in Guantanamo Bay. Trump has ordered construction of a detention camp to hold up to 30,000 people at the notorious military facility on the eastern tip of Cuba, used for holding terrorism suspects since the 9/11 attacks.
This is a temporary transit, which is already the mission of Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, where we can plus up thousands and tens of thousands if necessary to humanely move illegals out of our country where they do not belong back to the countries where they came from in proper process.
Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel criticized the proposal, calling it a violation of human rights. Amid the immigration crackdown, U.S. military deportation flights have also intensified, with nearly 1,200 arrests being made per day. In response to this, some Maryland families are taking precautionary steps. Fearing deportation, they are seeking legal guardianship arrangements for their children.
It's reality. Some families not had other members in the family had legalization. For me, it's broken and sad, but it's inspiration. I took the decision, said, you know, had somebody help, I am ready for you. I'm mature and support.
As more families face uncertainty of deportation and with international leaders speaking out, the full impact of these decisions will unfold in the weeks ahead. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
Latin American leaders face a delicate balancing act as they navigate Trump's migrant crackdown, weighing confrontation risks against protecting citizens amid cancelled summit and rising tensions. Here's a report.
Facing constant pressure from the Trump administration about deportation of its citizens from the US, the Latin American nations are walking a tightrope. They are wary to antagonize a powerful US while aware that domestic sentiments would expect them to present the picture of a strong and independent nation. Latin American leaders have cancelled a summit to discuss US President Donald Trump's migrant crackdown as the region weighs the risks of openly confronting the firebrand US president. The dispute began when Colombian President Gustavo Petro blocked U.S. military aircraft carrying deported migrants, prompting Trump to impose tariffs and sanctions on Colombia. Within hours, the White House claimed Colombia had folded to its demands, but analysts say the situation is more nuanced. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum denied being afraid of invoking Trump's ire, saying our link with Latin America exists and will continue to exist. Honduran President Xiomara Castro, who had threatened to close US military bases, struck a less defiant tone, calling for dialogue and considering chartering flights to bring home migrants. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva remained silent on the treatment of migrants arriving home in handcuffs during the journey, but his government summoned the top US envoy to explain the flagrant disregard for their rights. The cancelled summit highlights the region's struggle to respond to Trump's migrant policies, with leaders weighing the risks of confrontation against the need to protect their citizens. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center is a United States military prison with a naval station, Guantanamo Bay, on the coast of Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. This time, Trump has ordered Pentagon and DHS to prepare the facility to take in illegal migrants deported from the U.S. The migrant detention facility at Guantanamo Bay is expected to hold up to 30,000 migrants. It already has a migrant facility separate from the high-security prison for foreign terrorism suspects and occasionally for decades to hold migrants, including Haitians and Cubans, picked up at the sea. The detention facility at Guantanamo Bay was set up in the year 2002 by President George Washington Bush to detain foreign militant suspects after the 9/11 attacks. Currently, there are 15 detainees left in the prison. Trump has vowed to keep the Guantanamo prison open, unlike his Democratic predecessors Barack Obama and Joe Biden. The Guantanamo prison has been condemned by human rights groups for indefinite detention and harsh interrogation methods. The facility for migrants is separate from the detention center on the base. Now, Meta has agreed to pay President Donald Trump $25 million to settle a 2021 lawsuit that he filed, claiming he was wrongfully censored by Facebook and Instagram after the US Capitol riot. Now, it is seen as a victory for Donald Trump, as $22 million of the payment will go towards funding Trump's future presidential library. Remainder will cover legal fee and payments to other plaintiffs in the case. Meta, in the settlement, will not admit wrongdoing over the suspensions of Trump's accounts. Trump had widely criticized social media platforms for suspending his accounts after the 6th of January 2021 insurrection. Mark Zuckerberg has expressed support for Donald Trump, and he has tweaked Meta's policies to lift restrictions on some content with the company's app that includes Facebook, Instagram, Thread and WhatsApp. In December, ABC News agreed to pay a $15 million settlement payment to resolve a defamation lawsuit brought by Donald Trump, stemming from on-air comments about him made by one of the top anchors. Meanwhile, Meta Platforms forecast first quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates, signaling its bets on pricey artificial intelligence-powered tools that were struggling to attract additional digital ad dollars to its social media platforms. The company expected quarterly revenue between $39.5 billion and $41.8 billion, compared with analysts' average estimate of $41.72 billion. Moving on, as part of the third hostage prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas, one Israeli hostage was released today. Military observer Agam Berger was released at the Jabalia camp in Gaza, where she was handed over to the Red Cross. And another woman who is a civilian, Abel Yehud, along with 80-year-old Gadi Moses, will also be released today. And there we get you the live visuals from both the places of exchange, Jabalia camp in Gaza, along with Tel Aviv Hostage Square, where the process is currently taking place. Earlier, One hostage was released and now it is moving further as per the ceasefire deal agreed between both the sides. Now, besides, 5 Thai nationals will also be released along with the hostages which are currently being released. And in exchange for the Israeli hostages, 110 Palestinian prisoners were freed from Israeli jails. Their release is part of the third such exchange since the ceasefire came into effect on the 19th of January. 7 women have already been freed in exchange for more than 290 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. A 4th hostage release involving 3 male hostages is expected to take place on Saturday. The two sides are currently implementing the first 42-day phase of the agreement that should see 33 hostages being freed. Now, U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday amid the Gaza ceasefire and a regional diplomatic push. The meeting comes before Netanyahu's visit to Washington next week. Israeli Prime Minister is the first foreign leader to be invited to the White House by U.S. President Donald Trump during his second term. Earlier, Witkoff visited Gaza on Wednesday. The U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East is in the region to oversee the implementation of the Gaza ceasefire of the visuals you just saw on your screens. Now, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has told all aid groups to immediately pause all U.S.-funded programs until further notice as humanitarian groups grapple with the lack of clarity on favors to President Donald Trump's 90-day aid pause. All USAID payments have also stopped. According to the U.S. Treasury data, the agency made no payments on Tuesday for the first time since the fiscal year began on the 1st of October. USAID on Monday paid out $8 million and last week a total of $545 million. Just hours after taking office on the 20th of January, Donald Trump ordered a 90-day pause to foreign aid contributions so that they can be reviewed to see if they align with his America First foreign policy. The U.S. is the world's largest aid donor. The State Department then issued a stop work order on last Friday for all existing foreign assistance and paused new aid, sparking a steady stream of individual notices to aid groups and UN agencies telling them to halt specific programs. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has issued waivers for emergency food aid, life-saving medicines, medical services, food shelter and subsistence help along with other supplies. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is plunged into chaos as President Felix Tshisekedi slams the international community's inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region. Here's more.
Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi has slammed the international community's inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region, calling it a betrayal of the country. The conflict, fueled by alleged Rwanda-backed rebels, has ignited public outrage in Kinshasa, with protesters targeting foreign embassies. Tshisekedi warned of regional destabilization. While the international community has denounced the embassy attacks, Tshisekedi's plea for intervention remains ignored, leaving the region on edge. While an East African bloc urged an immediate ceasefire in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebels who seized the city of Goma extended their advance on Wednesday. Congo said it planned a campaign to recover lost territory. DRC President Tshisekedi has vowed a robust military response.
Face à cette situation,
in the face of this situation, let me reassure you that a vigorous, coordinated response against these terrorists and their sponsors is underway. Our valiant armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, symbols of courage and patriotism, are fully mobilized, ready to defend each inch of our territory.
pleinement mobilisés.
The conflict is largely driven by the region's vast mineral wealth, including cobalt, gold, and coltan. The eastern DRC is home to some of the world's richest mineral deposits, making it a coveted prize for armed groups and external powers. Meanwhile, nearly 300 foreign mercenaries hired by the DRC government surrendered to UN peacekeeping troops in Goma Wednesday night. The M23 armed group, allegedly backed by Rwanda, has seized 2 districts in South Kivu, eastern DRC, after capturing Goma in North Kivu. The advances have killed at least 17 people and have injured around 370, worsening the region's humanitarian crisis. Antara Sinha for DD India.
We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Up next, we'll get you top highlights of Canadian Commission's report on the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. We'll also get you the details about revised and stringent security measures for the ongoing Mahakumbh festival in Prayagraj. And 2 women Navy officers on board INSV Tarini crosses Point Nemo.
Timeless, boundless, and infinite. The essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic, world's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, a Canadian Commission report has found that no definitive link to a foreign state was proven in the killing of Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, undermining Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations on the Indian government and involvement. Now, the report, titled Public Inquiry into Foreign Interference in Federal Electoral Processes and Democratic Institutions, was released on Tuesday. And in the report, Commissioner Marie-Jose Hawk said, and I quote her, "This may have been the case with the disinformation campaign that followed the Prime Minister's announcement regarding suspected Indian involvement in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, though again no definitive link to a foreign state could be proven," unquote. Now, in September 2023, Justin Trudeau claimed Canada had credible evidence that Indian government agents were involved in Nijjar's murder in British Columbia in June 2023. This had led to a diplomatic row with both the countries expelling each other's diplomats. And to understand it better, I am joined by DD India correspondent on Foreign Affairs, Amritpal Singh. Amritpal, good afternoon. Tell us first the highlights of the Canadian Commission's report that found no definitive link to a foreign state in the killing of Nijjar.
Now, this was a report that was commissioned to basically look at foreign interference in the electoral processes and democratic institutions of Canada. This lady was heading this commission. It was given extensions after extensions, and on Tuesday, finally, it submitted its report, which clearly points out 2-3 things. One, it states in no uncertain terms that there was no definitive link that was proven, as was alleged earlier by the Canadian Prime Minister, that Indian agents were involved. It uses the term foreign state was involved in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. So we all know that who was accused of killing Hardeep Singh Nijjar. It was clearly the Indian agents, Indian intelligence agencies, and some of their quarters also insinuated names of a few Indian ministers and even one of a high-ranking official who holds a cabinet rank in Prime Minister Modi's government. So one, their own independent commission report debunks that. And second, it says it accuses India of engaging in disinformation in the wake of expelling of diplomats, because it turned into a diplomatic row when Justin Trudeau in September 2023 had so alleged on the floor of the House. It says that India did engage in a disinformation campaign. The third thing, this report said that accuses India of being the second largest foreign state to be, or the second most important foreign state to be involved in interference in their electoral processes. With this came out when the report was submitted, and India has responded to that, dismissing these allegations and saying, as a policy, it does not interfere in foreign countries' domestic affairs, and in fact counter-alleged that it was Canada who consistently interferes or tries to interfere in the internal affairs of India. So this is what this report says, Deepika.
And also, would this have any sort of impact on the ongoing bilateral relationship of India and Canada?
Bilateral relations are at an all-time low. I mean, both of you expelled each other's diplomats. You had to withdraw your High Commissioner. They expelled 6 of your diplomats. You reacted in a same. You expelled them. Then they reacted in the same manner. So the name calling and finger pointing has been going on. It's clear that both sides don't see eye to eye. So probably the Indian Foreign Office mandarins are looking at post Trudeau to sort of pick up the threads and see how relations with Canada can be once again strengthened after once a new government is sworn in. But right now they remain pretty frosty.
All right, thank you so much, Amritpal, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the latest development. Moving on, India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnaw, addressed a press conference on the India AI mission in New Delhi on Thursday. And while addressing the conference, he said that major pillar of the AI or the artificial intelligence mission is to provide series of application for the benefit of the people.
A major pillar of the India AI mission will be to have series of applications which are useful for our people. Healthcare, education, agriculture, logistics, weather forecasting, flood forecasting, snow forecasting, measurements which are affecting a large number of people. That's a major focus of the applications. And I'm very happy to say that 18 applications have been selected for first round of funding.
Now further, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw also highlighted the graphics processing units or the GPUs for AI services in India. Now GPUs will help the students, researchers to process large amount of data very easily.
Our startups, our researchers, our academia, they all want to access compute facility, and that's why in the India AI mission we had taken the common compute as the most important part of the mission. And very happy to say that against 10,000 GPU, which was our target, we have actually empaneled 18,693 GPUs.
Now, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar participated in an interactive event themed Youth for a Vikasit Bharat with the students at Hansraj College in New Delhi on Thursday. Addressing the participants, the minister said that the youth must think about their future. They must make decisions carefully, considering that as they are the future of the country.
I would give people today, as someone in politics, not very long in politics, but I would give one message, and I would give this as a citizen, that it is very important when that young people especially should take interest in politics, not necessarily as a profession, but when it comes to political decisions and political choices. What choice you make is your business. But it is important. And what you should do, you should keep your own future in mind. Keep their own future in mind. People should ask themselves, actually, who is better for the country? Who is better for our prospects? Because at the end of the day, your personal prospects, your future and country's future is the same.
The Indian government has approved the setting up of the National Critical Minerals Mission or the NCMM on Wednesday to address challenges in the critical minerals sector. A $1.9 billion mission is being set up under the government's Self-Reliant India initiative. It recognizes the indispensable role of critical minerals in high-tech industries, clean energy and defense. The mission thus will encompass all stages of the value chain, including mineral exploration, mining, beneficiation, processing and recovery from end-of-life products. The mission will intensify the exploration of critical minerals within the country and its offshore areas as well. It aims at creating a fast-track regulatory approval process for critical mineral mining projects. Additionally, the mission will offer financial incentives for critical mineral exploration and promote the recovery of these minerals from overburden and tailings. And now it's time to get you all the latest updates from the ongoing Mahatma festival. The Mahatma fervour continues with devotees from India and across the globe coming to Prayagraj, and lakhs of devotees are arriving at Sangam on Sangam on Thursday for holy dip amid heightened security arrangements. The popularity of the Mahatma and its cultural heritage are being recognized globally. Foreign devotees visiting the Mahatma were deeply impressed by the Indian culture, and alongside their holy dip in the Ganga, they experienced India's religious and cultural traditions. The mega event, billed as the largest human gathering on planet Earth, began on the 13th of January and will conclude on the 26th of February. Meanwhile, taking stringent actions, Uttar Pradesh's Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ordered a judicial probe into Wednesday's stampede at Mahakumbh. He also announced 25 lakh rupees as compensation for the families of deceased. A 3-member judicial commission has been tasked with submitting its report within a month. Chief Secretary Manoj Kumar Singh and DGP Prashant Kumar will visit Prayagraj today to assess and reinforce crowd management strategies for the upcoming bathing days. And to get us the latest on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Akshay straight from Kumbh. Good afternoon, Akshay. Take us through the revised and stringent security measures that are in place taken up by the UP government to ensure smooth movement of the devotees. Akshay.
Well, Deepika, after the mishap of yesterday, the UP government has made now elaborate arrangements, given the fact that the number of devotees that have arrived here had been gathering at only few spots as far as the Sangam Ghats are concerned, and the other popular ghats that are here at the confluence, and especially around the nose of this confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers. And that has in fact resulted into a much respite to the devotees that have been coming here. In fact, as far as security arrangements are concerned, more paramilitary forces and Central Police forces have been deployed, diversions have been made, VIP passes have been cancelled of all the people till 4th of February, and all the ghats have been opened for common people, and segregation has already started as far as the Kumbh Mela is concerned. Now I'll ask my camera person to in fact zoom and show you the Arail Ghat where we are present right now, and even you can see in front of us the number of people people who are gathering at different ghats has now significantly gone down, because more ghats have been opened up, they have been cleaned, security has been implemented, and continuously appeals are being made by the authorities to ensure that people do not gather only at one spot. Now anyone can imagine if a number of people that is larger than the population of most of the countries in the world, in fact over 95% countries of the world, gather only at one spot that is not very huge, then there can be a situation and possibility of stampede, and that is what exactly happened yesterday. Despite repeated attempts, despite repeated appeals by the authorities, people were gathering only at one spot. However, that has been rectified now, and people have been asked to go to different ghats, and as all of them are considered holy, police are patrolling the different areas, segregations have been made, diversions have been made as far as traffic is concerned. More traffic that was moving into Prayagraj city from different states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and other areas, they have been diverted for now. They checkposts have been put in place to ensure that people come here and they do not bring in their vehicles as far as the main areas are concerned, which can lead to massive traffic jams. So all of these elaborate arrangements have in fact showed result since today morning, when people are now not gathering only at one place, but they are now segregating and going to different ghats to take dip in the holy confluence of the three rivers. Back to you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for joining us and bringing us the latest straight from Kumbh. Now, following the tragic stampede at the Mahakumbh, the Varanasi and Ayodhya administrations have put in place measures for crowd control and traffic regulations. In fact, both Ayodhya and Varanasi have seen a surge of over 2,500,000 devotees daily for the last couple of days, with the devotees visiting all three religious places in one go. Meanwhile, on the occasion of Mauni Amavasya, Ayodhya witnessed an overwhelming surge of devotees to the Ram temple. Entry of all types of vehicles into the fair area has been completely restricted in Ayodhya, with huge police deployment at key locations to maintain law and order. The health department is also on high alert, with all doctors' leaves being cancelled until Vasant Panchami. Emergency services will remain operational 24/7 to handle any medical needs. Large vehicles have been stopped on the highways, and alternative routes have been designated to prevent congestion in and around Ayodhya. Similarly, in Varanasi, traffic diversions and restrictions have been put in place as a large number of pilgrims began their journey to Prayagraj after offering prayers at Kashi Vishwanath temple, while millions of devotees thronged Ganga Ghats for Mauni Amavasya Snan, or the holy dip. Due to massive crowding at the main bathing ghats, the officials diverted the pilgrims to other ghats. Apart from police and NDRF, PAC's flood relief teams also remain deployed at the ghats and river stream. The administration is all geared up to prevent any mishaps in Ayodhya and Varanasi and ensure that devotees can visit these holy places without any hassle. Now, a public interest litigation has been filed in India Supreme Court with regards to the stampede deaths at the Mahakumbh. Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna asked the petitioner to approach the Supreme Court registry for an urgent hearing on this matter. No date has been fixed for the next hearing on the matter. Moving on, as part of Navika Sagar Parikrama 2nd, INSV Tarini charted through the world's most isolated waters. Lieutenant Commander Dilna K and Lieutenant Commander Rupa crossed Point Nemo, which is the oceanic pole of inaccessibility. A testament to resilience, courage and the spirit of adventure as well. Now, Point Nemo holds the distinction of being the farthest point from any landmass on Earth. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. India all set for Budget 2025. Karnataka dominates the first day of swimming at 38th National Games in Uttarakhand. And in chess, D. Kukesh continues dominant run at Netherlands tournament.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Deepika. Now it's time to get you all the latest from budget, as Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the Union Budget 2025 in Indian Parliament on the 1st of February. Let's take a look at some of the related stories from there. Now, the Indian government on Thursday convened a meeting of floor leaders of all political parties ahead of the budget session of India's parliament. The meeting was chaired by Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, Kiran Rijiju, JP Nadda, Arjun Ram Meghwal and L. Murugan. During the meeting, the government sought cooperation from all the parties to ensure smooth functioning of the session. The budget session will begin on Friday with the address of the President to the joint sitting of the two houses. The Union Budget will be presented on the 1st of February. The first leg of the session will conclude on the 13th of February and the second leg will continue from the 10th of March. Now, as India aims to become a global tourism powerhouse, expectations are high for the Union Budget 2025 to provide a significant boost to the sector. Young entrepreneurs in the travel business are looking for policy support, financial incentives and infrastructure upgrades to fuel growth. DD India correspondent Kriti Vadhera reports on how the upcoming budget could shape India's tourism sector.
India's tourism sector is witnessing an unprecedented rise, fueled by domestic travelers and growing global interest, from adventure tourism in the Himalayas to spiritual circuits in Varanasi and Ayodhya. The industry is evolving rapidly. Entrepreneurs are now looking at the Union Budget to catalyze this momentum with policy reforms and financial support.
To increase the domestic travel, government should increase more and more adventure parks so that more family can able to travel. And second, I would say after post-COVID, we have seen that flight fares are going much higher. So it's not in the reach of normal people, layman people, I mean to say. So I think government must have a monitoring authority who can control these flight fares, that this should not go much high, so that in case of any medical emergency or if anybody want to travel, they can think of that they can also travel by air.
Technology is reshaping travel experiences. Entrepreneurs want government support for digital payment systems and smart travel solutions to enhance ease of booking and accessibility.
Government should also focus on the tax rebate for travel agents, tourism sector, for all the travel fraternity.
Connectivity remains key to growth. With ambitious projects like new expressways, regional airports, and high-speed rail corridors, the industry seeks increased budget allocations to improve last-mile connectivity and accessibility to offbeat locations. With the tourism sector playing a crucial role for India's economic growth, young entrepreneurs are optimistic that the Union Budget 2025 will bring the right policy push. Will it deliver to their expectations? Now all eyes remain to the Finance Minister's announcement. With camera person Anand Kumar, I am Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour and now it's time to get you all the latest action from the world of sports. To begin with the national games, with 5 gold medals, Karnataka dominated the first day of swimming at the 38th National Games in Uttarakhand. Srihari Natraj won gold in men's 200-meter freestyle, while Dhinidhi Desingu set a new National Games record in women's 200-meter freestyle and secured gold in 100-meter butterfly event. Karnataka's men's and women's freestyle relay teams clinched gold, with the men's team setting a new meet record. With a stellar start, Karnataka lead the swimming medal tally as of now. In chess, India's D. Kukesh continued his dominant run at the ongoing chess tournament in the Netherlands. He defeated Dutch Grandmaster Max Vermeerdrom in round number 10 to maintain his lead in the Masters category. Playing with the black pieces, D. Kukesh capitalized on a critical blunder by Vermeerdrom to secure victory on move 27. Earlier in round 9, he took the sole lead after defeating Leon Luke Mendonca, while former co-leaders R. Pragnananda and Nordiberg Abdusattorov dropped points. Now, India is paying homage to Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, on his 77th death anniversary today, which is also known as the Martyrs' Day. Every year on this day, the nation honors the life and legacy of Mahatma Gandhi, who was the guiding light of India's struggle to independence. This day is also observed as Martyrs' Day or Shaheed Divas, that marks a moment of reflection on the profound sacrifices made in the pursuit of freedom. In New Delhi, President Draupadi Murmu led the nation in paying floral tributes to the father of the nation in Rajghat. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankad also went to Rajghat and remembered Mahatma Gandhi by paying floral tributes there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid a solemn tribute to Mahatma Gandhi at the Rajghat on this occasion. An all-religion prayer meeting was also organized. Later in the evening, an all-religion prayer meeting will be held at Gandhi Smriti on 30 January mark in New Delhi as well. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour this afternoon. Namaskar.